last year, or even longer now, more than that, about 18 months ago, I was I was given a lot of time. It was by choice initially, um, but then as I tried to go back and re-enter my kind of old life, it just wouldn't invite me back anymore. And they it felt weird. It felt interesting. It felt confusing. It was surprising actually. Yeah. And since then, sometimes I try to go back or to resume, but maybe I'm already damaged goods in those industries or in that field, and I was overrunning for quite a while, and then everything kind of stopped. And the beginning, it just felt unbearable because, and at the beginning, it felt unbearable, and I couldn't really comprehend what was happening. Um, but since then, I've learned to be with it. And I was listening to a podcast another day where the idea of useless time or time not well spent came up, uh, or just empty time, as in there's no there's no goal in it. There's no peak to climb. There's no goal. There's no aim. There's no achievement to earn. There's nothing to gain from it. Just being. And I do have a handful of friends who have been given that, although they have been around for quite longer, and now their circumstances just allow for them to kind of exit the game. And then I'm kind of the odd one out with them just because I'm still very much, I guess, in the running by the looks of external institutes and by just culture. Um, so yeah. But this idea of time not well spent, or you just choosing to be where, I don't know, boredom crawls in, but it's not necessarily boredom. So you're just you just are, and you enjoy, or maybe you just don't enjoy, maybe you just are, and even if it's painful, or you feel that the chains of the culture and society, and the chains of money, of course, because I do understand that most of us and a lot of us do have to grind for something, but um, but I don't have that, I guess, or even if I do, for some reason it's not showing up. So, so in the past, I would say 18 months, besides doing my routine and engaging with the community and cultivating relationships and connections and my craft, there wasn't much else done, as in the eyes of, I wouldn't say, I mean, I have to say capitalism. I don't think I am an example, and I'm fine with that, but whenever I would come up with this or bring this up with friends, especially my peers who are climbing up the ladders and who are doing something and they want to achieve something big, or they want to have a lot of material possessions, or maybe want to have a family and working towards that, or whatever that their aim is. um, they would allocate very much nothing, or just a speck of dust to spend time together and connection and people as a cultural practice. It's very limited now. If you go and grab coffee with someone, they would check their phones, or they would only have 30 minutes or 45 minutes, and maybe they would also apologize that they're so sorry, but they have to run because there is a meeting, or there is something to be done in order to then get something done, and then in order to get that something done. And the other crew, the ones who don't have this, or who do have their everyday responsibilities, but they just really do it quickly and they have time at their hands, they would be the ones who would see the world in a very different way and through a different lens. And they would be the ones just sitting down and just sitting, not thinking, not contemplating, not traveling to the past or to the future. Just they would be just there, or they would look at situations from a completely different angle. Maybe that's a boon you get when you are given this time or this space to develop. Develop is also not a good word, because development also means there is somewhere to get to, but there isn't. And in Hinduism, there is the idea or term of Purushrata, which probably some people on the spiritual path have heard of, but it's kind of the aim of human life. And we always talk about, as yogis or spiritual people, about dharma, right? Like dharma, your duty, your life, or the way you show up. And then we skip the other two and we end up at moksha, and then everything about, which is liberation, and everything else then just ends up being, how do you liberate yourself? Like, how do you get to liberation? How do you speed up the process of just becoming liberated and and being blissful, or maybe just getting into this place? And then there are two more in between dharma and moksha, which are artha and kama. And kama would be pleasure, right? Love, desire, which I'll talk about probably another time. But artha, which is prosperity and economic value, is kind of just not being paid attention to for whatever reason. Why? However, if there are people out there who have tried and maybe are trying to attain that, or I'm not talking about high net worth, I'm just talking about having the the resources to be and to do whatever you want to. How do you break that barrier? I was thinking about. I don't have to break it, but I guess I still have the drive to do or to try. Maybe you just keep trying without actually having the pressure of time running out of your hands or not having enough time spent with people or just for yourself. So, time not well spent. If you have that, then maybe cherish that. If you don't have that, maybe try it out a little bit where there are no plans, where there's no aim, there's no goal. You just simply are. Keep breathing.